All right, ladies and gentlemen, so it is official. Donald Trump has been announced the 47th president of the United States of America. This result was actually released on the 6th of November 2024. And it is clear that Bitcoin has really been affected by his influence as being the president of the United States of America. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's really look at what is happening in BTC USD and let's see what you should be doing with Bitcoin. Let's jump straight into it. All right, boys. So as you can see my screen, this is BTC USD. I'm not really going to dwell too much on it because at the end of the day, I mean, we know what we're expecting. So I was doing a little analysis before this video. So let me delete this and delete this and, delete this. Now, first things first, Bitcoin has officially gotten to its all-time high, which is $76,000. Now, it is funny how I just remembered I made a video concerning this about a month ago. Now, if you go back, you're going to see the video, or about 2 weeks ago, before the elections, where I said XAU USD and Bitcoin, they're going to be affected by Donald Trump's election. And I mean, I made the prediction and it's playing out perfectly. So if we look at this, it's currently at $76,000, about to hit $80,000. Now, this is on a daily time frame. Now, if we zoom in, I think it was somewhere, the election was on the 4th of November, then the result was called on the 6th of November rather. Now, as we can see, this is, if we trace the dates down here, this is Monday, 4th of November. So Monday, 4th of November was when Bitcoin had this red candlestick. Let me pull it up. Monday, 4th of November, Bitcoin had a red candlestick. Now, if you go to the following day, which was Tuesday, 5th of November, we can see that, from the results of the election, it seemed like it was about to be influenced into a blue candlestick. Now, we can see, and if we look at this candlestick, we see that the sellers were actually wanting to push it down. As they were pushing it down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the sellers were actually in control in this market. But at some point on the 5th of November, Tuesday, 2024, when the results were being processed and so on, it seemed like the sellers were actually wanting to push it down. But at some point, some buying momentum just came out of nowhere and it now pushed it up into a blue candlestick. And then the following day, which was the 6th of November, when the results were announced, and ladies and gentlemen, we had this humongous move. Boom. Now, for those of you that know how to read candlesticks, if we look at this candlestick here, we see that the wick in this candlestick is really little. If we look at the wick underneath the candlestick, the wick is really little. Now, look at this candlestick and look at this one. This one has a humongous wick. Now, for those of you that know candlesticks and candlestick wicks, you are aware that whenever a candlestick has a wick like this, it's trying to tell you the buyers pushed the candlestick up onto this level. It shows that the buyers pushed the candlestick up onto this level. I drew the arrow. So the buyers pushed the candlestick up onto this level. But, they were not able to have enough momentum to hold at that level. And what price is this? This is $73,000. So at this level, we can see here, let's mark that out. So the buyers pushed it to this level and they were not they were not able to hold it back to this level. So then the market had to drop a little bit here. So it closed here. So the price opened right here and it closed somewhere here. So to tell you that when it comes to this candlestick, the buyers were in charge, but at some point the sellers managed to push it a little bit down. I'm just giving an example with this candlestick, but it still has a little wick underneath. Then again, if we look at this candlestick that was opened on the 6th of November, the day of the elections, you realize that it really had no wick underneath. So it means that this candlestick opened and went straight for a buy towards the upside, breaking this point, and we now know that, hey, the market is actually on a bullish trend. Now listen, the Bitcoin bull run has not come into play because the market is still going to do some, plays out and so on. But let me show you. Now look at this point in which I marked out. If we zoom out, it's literally one of the highest points. But this point in which I marked out, we see that the market made a little retracement, but it didn't touch this level. Now, it is still most likely going to retrace and want to touch this level because the market does higher highs and higher lows, even when it comes to BTC USD. Yeah, even in Bitcoins, the market, or even in cryptocurrencies rather than Bitcoin, the market still does higher highs and higher lows. So if you had gotten to a buy at $67,000, the market literally added $7,000 the market literally added $10,000 within the space of 24 hours or 48 hours rather, from here being the 5th of November to here being the 8th of November. So within 48 hours ish, the market added about $10,000 to Bitcoin. So whatever price you had bought Bitcoin, you would have gotten a $10,000 increase in whatever investment you're going to make in Bitcoin. But like I was saying, let's go back to the analysis. Now, as long as this high has been broken, we know that we are on an uptrend. Now, let us look at the overall direction of BTC USD to see how the trade has really been going. Now, if we zoom out to see how BTC USD has been, BTC USD started an uptrend on the 6th of September 2024. That was on a Friday. That was when BTC USD started this nice uptrend. From here, we can see this was where the uptrend started from. So we can mark it out here. Yes. So this was where the uptrend started from. And now, one thing you should know about uptrends is that to identify an uptrend, it does higher highs and higher lows, 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 and then the market is on the high. So with your common sense or with the normal knowledge in which you have, you know that the market is most likely going to retest to this place to get a next high, and on and on and on and on. So it is one thing, I've just given you a hint. So the market is most likely going to retest, but hold on, we're still not done. So this is how the market has been going. So this is a weekly time frame. And now if you see these two lines I marked out, if you extend it, you can see that it creates this internal structure. There's more like an internal structure it created here, an internal consolidation. And remember, this is a weekly time frame. The internal structure started on the 26th of February, Monday 2024, and now it ended on the 4th of November. So for about 8 months, the market has been consolidating. So it was growing its momentum for 8 months, for 8 whole months, before it was able to break above. So at this point in time now, we know that, okay, the market has broken out of the consolidation. But listen, remember, look, I know you're seeing a whole lot of trends on social media. I've seen these trends. Some of these trends were the reasons I decided to make this video. Now, I know you've seen some of these trends of people talking about Trump's influence and Elon Musk's influence on BTC that have made this thing skyrocket to its all-time high at $76,000 just within 24 hours, and that is amazing. But then one thing you should realize is this: BTC is deadly, so you need to be careful when you play with Bitcoin. Okay, almost nobody, and when I say almost nobody, I mean almost nobody jumped into a trade or bought BTC at this point. Let's say for those of you that have been holding BTC for the longest of time, that is fine, but almost nobody jumped into a trade on BTC on the 4th of November. Even if anybody did, look, I'm not going to say nobody because I don't know, but at the end of the day, even if people did jump into a trade that day, one thing we should know, or one thing we should realize, is that the people who jumped into the trade were, to be honest, they were lucky, and they just jumped into the trade and it went towards their direction. They went for a buy. But at the end of the day, you cannot get into the trade here because you don't know what it's going to do. So that is why you should wait for the market to retest to this area. It's why, most likely, like I said, this market could come back to this zone before going to the upside, and we're not done yet. So we still have to go out again to still see the overall direction of the market. Now remember, we're on a weekly time frame. Now if we zoom out on a weekly time frame, yeah, the markets have been on an uptrend, even though yes, it has been on a weekly time frame. The weekly time frame has kind of been on an uptrend, although this uptrend is a kind of shabby uptrend. Now, BTC got to this point, I think this was 2021, so this was about 3 years ago. It came back here again, the same 2021. It had a double top, then it went for the downside and BTC crashed. A whole lot of people lost a whole lot of money from BTC, and then from $16,000, then BTC now is at $76,000. Now it has been making higher highs and higher lows. It's clearly on an uptrend, higher highs and higher lows. But what you should place your focus in is this build. This is more like a build of momentum. Look, whenever you see a market having a consolidation, or whenever the market is ranging, there is a law in trading that says whenever the market is ranging, it's still most likely going to continue at that same direction where it was going. So for example, if the market was making higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, then at some point it starts ranging and does something like this, most likely there is a chance that the market is still going to go to an uptrend, retest, and it keeps on doing its higher highs and higher lows, and so on and so forth. So that's how the forex market, or not forex, that's how the market generally works, be it forex or not forex. But now, what if the market had done, now look, I'm not making this video to be completely optimistic that Bitcoin is going for a buy Bitcoin. No, that's not what I'm going to do. But I'm also going to do it fairly, to be honest with you all. Now, if the market is doing a higher high and a higher low, a higher high and a higher low, and at some point it gives you a head and shoulder, and what I mean by head and shoulder is it does something like this, then it comes back here, and let's say this is a little bit higher, then it comes here. At this point in time, this market is about to do what is called a change of structure, or a shift of structure. And let's say it taps into this zone and comes back again to tap into this liquidity. My dear, it is going for a sell. And at this point right here, you may say, oh, the market is going for a buy, but it's actually not going for a buy. The market is actually going for a sell. So what you would have done is, once the market gets to this place, you take your short position and then you take the market for a sell. That is what you would have done. But I'm trying to look at Bitcoin and I'm trying to see how Bitcoin is going. So far, I haven't seen any head and shoulder or Eva's head and shoulder. The market is actually going to the upside. So what is my final verdict about Bitcoin? If I were to give you a suggestion, I'm not going to suggest you jump into a Bitcoin trade now, because it's going to be deadly. Instead, what you should do, like I said, if we boil down to the daily, this zone, remember when I marked out this was the swing high, or this is the swing high, the highest point before it made a breakout. Now remember when I talked about this swing high, and this week, if this week had come to retest here, we would have said the market has done a retest and it's still going, but it has not come to this zone. So most likely at some point it may still maybe go to the upside a little bit and maybe retest and go to the upside. But believe me, I tell you, this market would most likely come to this place. And when it comes here, then it will now have enough momentum to now go to the upside, and so on and so forth. So that is how it's going to do. But let me draw that again. So most likely this is what the market is going to be doing. I just drew a rough sketch just to show you how Bitcoin most likely is going to go, because it still needs to come and tap into this liquidity before it goes for a buy. So what you should do now is you should wait for the market to come back to this zone, and when it comes back to this zone, then you can now take your buying positions to the upside, because you don't want to buy where Bitcoin is currently. You can now take your buying positions to the upside. And another thing we should note is Bitcoin is in its all-time high. So if you check the past history, or if you check the history of Bitcoin, there is no level in which Bitcoin has gotten to that is as high as $76,000. So there is no next target, or there is no next point that we are going to be looking out for, because we don't know where the next point is going to be. So it's an open check. And remember, when the market is having an open check, my dear, you need to be careful so you're not going to lose your savings. We're having more like a top-down analysis. Now, if we boil down to the 4 hours, we can still see that the market is actually doing some higher highs and higher lows on the 4 hours time frame. You can see this like a mini trend, like a mini higher high and higher low. It looks cool. And then if we come to the 1 hour, if we mark this out, look at that thing I was telling you. Now, if we mark this week out, we can see that it comes exactly to this zone. Now, yeah, it may not touch it perfectly 100%, but it comes so close at $75,000. It comes so close. So, these swing highs, the market is still going to come back to tap into these swing highs, which you can call liquidity. So the market most likely is still going to tap into this swing highs. That's why I said allow the market to come back to this area. Maybe, who knows, this could be a potential head and shoulder. Maybe this is the right shoulder, this is the head, and maybe it's making a left shoulder. It could look something like this. It goes up, come down, goes up, come down again to create the right shoulder, then comes back to tap into this zone, and then it goes for the upside, like I was saying. So BTC is pretty looking good. I'll just tell you, don't really go for a buy on BTC now. Let BTC play out perfectly. Look at the 45 minutes time frame. It's still doing the exact same thing. And then the 15 minutes time frame, nothing much has happened. Now remember, after the elections, things have calmed down. The boost and the hype for everyone jumping into BTC has kind of relaxed a little bit. Now, I want to show you another thing. These are things that we see. These are more like confirmations that we see. We can see this zone is where the market currently is. So this is an important key level in which it is above. So nobody knows what the market is going to do. But there is a nice double top here in which it made it go to the downside, but it has still come here. If it broke below, did a retest, it's still going to get to this downside. Let me show you what I mean. If it breaks below here and comes back to this zone to retest, it's going to go to this downside. Yes. And then from the downside, you can now take a buy to the upside. So the point I'm trying to make is, I don't think now is going to be a perfect time to jump into a buy for BTC. Let the market do its thing, let the market retest, let the market come back to its zone, then you can now take it for a buy to the upside. And I think that's just how it's going for BTC. Now remember, the last video I made, I talked about XAU USD, and I know pretty much I'm going to do a better video on XAU USD, but let's still check how XAU USD is going. Now I did my analysis on gold, like I said, about 2 weeks ago, when I told you gold has gotten to its all-time high. And ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that saw that video, I told you that gold most likely has some potentials of retesting, in which so if we look at what gold is doing, it had a very, very massive bearish move. As BTC was having a bullish move, gold was having a bearish move. And you can see there's like a minor, very minor head and shoulder right here. You can see there's a left head, and there's a left shoulder, right head, a very minor head and shoulder right here. Then it comes back here, and who knows, gold could still dip a little bit because of this head and shoulder. It could still dip a little bit, but you can see this is the neckline. Look, this is the neckline, and gold has gotten to the neckline. So ladies and gentlemen, look, I'll be honest with you, if I'm going to give you some advice, sell gold. Like, I don't know where you're going to see this video, but if you see this video and look at what gold is doing, and you still have some time, sell gold. Because listen, I have some serious prediction. Gold may most likely come to this level. So this is a 1:3 risk to reward. I mean, this is cool. No, honestly, this is cool. So I'm going to be honest with you. If I can give you some advice, hey, sell gold. Depending on when you see this video, sell gold. But gold had a very bad spike, in which I'm going to have a really separate video for gold. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking around with me. And for those of you who haven't noticed, I have a side camera here. It gives me that Iman Gadzi style and standard of filming. Bye for now.